Hey guys, this is Kavi.
And this is Matt.
Welcome back to our podcast. Today we'll be discussing the automotive industry throughout the Middle East.
So, the automotive industry in the Middle East isn't as diversified as it is here in the U.S., but it is definitely really noteworthy. Obviously, here in the United States, our automotive industry has been going for well over a century. Henry Ford and his Ford automobiles pioneered the roadways of America, and since then have still held the test of time.
A buddy of mine actually has a 1930 Ford Model A pickup truck that still runs strong to this day. He doesn't take it out all the time, but, beach visits here and there on a nice sunny day, you'll see it around the streets of Levittown.
That's really impressive. Anyway, Turkey and Iran currently lead the Middle East in terms of automotive production. Iran had been the Middle East's largest automobile producer up until 2012. Then in 2013, Turkey passed up Iran, and they still hold that title today. In 2021, Turkey produced over 1,276,000 cars, and Iran produced only 894,000.
So the Iranian automobile history isn't nearly as seasoned, but it's certainly still worthy of discussion. Iran's first major automobile manufacturer is Iran Khodro, branded as IKCO. It was founded in 1962 as Iran National by two brothers, Mahmoud and Ahmad Khayyami. So, fun fact here, up until very recently, the family of Mahmoud Khayyami still owned and operated Mercedes-Benz of Anaheim, a dealership in Southern California. This dealership was sold off in December of 2022, which was only about 9 days ago as the time of this recording. The other manufacturer is Saipa, founded in 1965 as a company that assembled and sold Citroens in the Iranian market. The Saipa name is a French acronym that translates to Iranian Limited Company for the production of automobiles. Partnerships such as these resulted in the manufacturing of previous generation vehicles sold as new models with unique Iran market branding. The vast majority of Saipa products are essentially licensed reproductions of other automakers' second-hand designs. Citroën left the arrangement in the 70s, and Saipa's been hopping brands ever since. In the 90s, they partnered with Kia to bring the Kia pride to Iran as the Nassim. They worked with Renault in the 2000s. As of recent, they've been manufacturing badge-engineered cars from Renault and various Chinese automakers.
So, we know that there have been a lot of sanctions imposed on Iran both in the past and in recent history. And because of that, the automotive industry has taken several heavy blows. Some foreign auto manufacturers have withdrawn and ceased operations in Iran entirely. Namely, Peugeot, Renault, and Daimler all pulled out as a result of U.S.-imposed sanctions. And this has led to a de facto monopoly of the automobile industry in Iran. As the major players remaining in the country, Iran Khodro and Saipa essentially have control over the Iranian car market, and they've taken note. They've raised their prices in unison while maintaining a stalemate in innovation. And speaking of innovation, or at least keeping up with the times, let's take a look at Turkey. The Turkish car industry, with regards to manufacturing, has been around for quite some time. In 1929, Ford brought the Model A over to Turkey in partnership with Otosan, and they began churning out cars every day, over 40 cars each day. For 1929, that's impressive. Once the partnership was established and clearly able to meet Ford's demands, they signed an official licensing agreement which saw the company rebranded as Ford Automotive Sanayi, or as it's known today, Ford Otosan.
That move laid the foundations for Ford's success in the region, and once they established themselves, they began to ramp up production. By the early 2000s, Ford would export over 500,000 cars per year to the EU member states. In 2009 alone, Ford Otosan sold approximately 30,000 Transit Connect vans to North America. Ford still appears to be Turkey's largest auto manufacturer, producing a large chunk of their best-selling European models across their 5 Turkish factories and their respective facilities. As Matt said, Turkey produced over 1.276 million cars last year. That may already sound like a lot, but here's another staggering statistic. Between January and November of 2021, the Turkish automotive supply industry's exports to EU countries was a total of $17 billion. That's automobiles and parts included. During that time period, the EU automotive supply exports only crossed $6 billion. That's almost threefold being produced in Turkey. Of course, given the sizable car industry in Turkey, they've got their own unique car culture. Mainly, it's a result of a policy that maintains a heavy nation-centric lean, imposing heavy import taxes on all vehicles not manufactured in Turkey.
Bloomberg reported that back in 2020, Turkey raised their special consumption tax to 220% of the market value. This means that a $42,000 BMW 3 Series would require a $92K tax bill to be imported to Turkey. And old policies and newfound loopholes can lead to quite an interesting mix, with Iranian car culture being very unique. Despite the challenges that Iran has faced and even hostilities towards us, they still have a huge appreciation for American muscle cars.
We'll go further in depth about Iranian car culture in our next installment, so be sure to stick around. Thank you for your time.